IVM.
TFG Interviews is an IVM production, and you can also check out their other awesome shows like Geek Fruit with fellow and television geeks Tejas, Jishnu and Dinkar as they discuss the world of science fiction and nerd culture.
You're listening to TFG Interviews.
Hello and welcome. This is a new episode of the TFG Interview podcast where we bring you sports personalities or those who belong to sports. Today we have a special guest. Kevin is with me in the studio. He was in conversation with the CEO of FC Pune City, the ISL team, Gaurav Modwel. It's a great chap to talk to, I believe. Kevin, what have you got us?
Yeah, so it was the occasion of the launch of the brand ambassador, the new brand ambassador and co-owner of FC Pune City. Mm-hmm. So we met up with them it was one of the hotels in Mumbai, and we had lots of things to talk to him, and he shared a lot of insight about mainly the youth, because they've been doing excellent over the past years. One of the few ISL teams who've been investing in their youth teams, and now they've done pretty well in the local circuit, and that was the first topic that we spoke about. And then moving on to different areas that the Chanmari FC strategic tie-up, he did share something about that as well, how things are going. And we talked about the foreign tours that the ISL teams have been taking, and mainly he did speak on at length on the thing that we always understand that it's difficult to talk about is the merger. It's the open league. We talk about no promotion, no relegation. From a CEO's perspective, what it means, like what investment is. You get to when you invest on something, your time, money, you will require that returns. That's the perspective that we wanted to know from him. And let's head on to the conversation.
Interesting thoughts over there, and we are excited to hear what he has to say about it.
So, Mr. Modwel, a great year last year was very successful for the youth teams. Your under 11, under 13, under 18, and the Ivy Shield along with the women's team. So this is the only ISL team that has taken part in so many tournaments. How does it feel?
It's a part of our philosophy. Like, we were right from the very beginning very keen on putting out our youth teams. So there is a residential academy. We run about 4 pitches, maintain and run 4 pitches. That gives us the infrastructure to be able to do it. And especially the under 18 team performed really well. Under 15 won the Goa Super Elite Cup, but the women's team and under 18 team performed really, really well. I thought for under 18 last season in the regional rounds, I think out of 8 games we won the first 7. We relaxed a bit in the last 30 minutes when the league was getting over, and we drew 1 game out of 8. We just lost 1 game to East Bengal in the entire under 18 National League. And otherwise we didn't lose any game. We won everything on the way. And then finally they wanted to make amends. And when they went for 20 days later, when they went back again to Calcutta, and the game we lost was we just reached. We didn't have time to acclimatize there, and we lost the first game. But after that was the only game, I guess, we lost. The under 18 team ever lost the whole of last season. Yeah. And the good part is, like, what gives me thrills is not only winning the trophy, as what I said, but a lot of these boys are now getting into. So just to give you an idea where these boys are today, and which is the under 18 boys who came out. You have 4 or 5 of them in the ISL main team with us, 2 in the main team, 3 in the reserves. Then we have.
So your academy is acting like a feeder to your main club.
Yeah, not only to my feeder. To my club, it's feeding to I-League. So there are 3 boys who are already in, who are going on a loan to Chennai City. 1 boy who has gone to FC Goa for ISL on a loan. 1 boy who has gone to Chester Paul, who has gone to Mohun Bagan to play in I-League. Yeah. Chester Paul Lindo is playing in there. Yasser is playing in FC Goa this season. Then we have another 5 boys who have gone to the reserve teams, who have been transferred to the reserve teams of Bengaluru and Kerala. Then we have 3 boys who are playing India under 19, the captain of India, current India under 19, which has just gone to AFC Cup, Sahil. Ashish and Abhishek Halda, again from the academy. So from one team, we are feeding I League, we are feeding India under 19, we are feeding our own main team. So it's all over. The boys are doing so well.
Also, on the same note, the under 14 team of yours is playing in the PDFA. They participate in the local tournament, and your soccer schools, FCPC soccer schools. So, is there a rise that you've seen in the number of locals and the natives coming in from Pune and around? So, is that a good sign that you see in progress?
So that's a bigger challenge, and that's what we want to spur. More soccer schools. So soccer schools are not as professional, so you wouldn't see as much result coming out of them. There will be, like here, the hit rate would be much higher when it's a residential academy. In soccer schools, we intake any and everyone who wants to play football. So it's different when it's soccer schools. But yes, under 14 team is gonna play. Under 13 team this year is gonna play the National League. So that is going to be a challenge because it's a non-residential, so we are going to scout only in Maharashtra and do it. But one after the other, we will start focusing on each of the areas. And the whole idea is it won't happen overnight, but over next 4 or 5 years, you will see a lot of players coming from the state of Maharashtra and specifically Pune.
So, Mr. Modwel, a great success for your youth teams. Some part of the credit goes to the FC and the Pune FC Academy that Pune City
Yes. There are a lot of those boys who were there from the academy. We brought in some of the boys from AIFF setup, but there are also boys that we scouted in very short time, like the guy who scored twice in the finals, a guy called Gunny, and who is now in my reserves as a striker. Gunny was not playing for any academy or anywhere. We scouted him from Kerala and he came in from there, playing very, very well, scored the maximum number of goals. Yes, but the fact is that the Pune FC setup did help us a lot, but we took it to the next level. The boys who were there, we lost some of the good players like Opia. There was a player called Opia who is now again playing under 19 India level. I think he went to TSK at that point in time because there was a gap, there was a lag between Pune FC and us. But we took it, we started changing many things there. So one is the coach that we brought in, Roger Lamesa. He was a UEFA Pro coach last year for young teams. The second is the kind of tie-ups we had, the kind of physical training that we worked with these boys, the circuit training in the multi-gyms, small things. But we tried taking it to the next level with these boys. But it helped me a lot in terms of having ready contracts with Pune FC for sure.
Okay. So you met with your fan club, the Orange Army, recently. How was the experience meeting them?
Orange Army is family for me. So it has grown over a period of time. I remember in the first year, we were just 21 people. In the first meet that I had, they were just total Orange Army was 21 people. Today it runs into thousands. The core group is also big. So recently what we did this year is we have started aligning ourselves with the supporters club of Man United, Man City, Chelsea, all the supporters club, and they are now seeing merit in having their own club at the city level. So this was a meet where I met the top.
So you get into a common passion.
Yes. So they will know what it is to be Pune City, right? So they love their clubs. So we
also do you think that there is a awareness part of Indian football that's coming up that is taking the fans
पहली बार उनसे बात करना शुरू किया, उनको बताना शुरू किया कि देखो तुम तो और कंटिन्यू करो. हर कोई इंडिया में जो अधिकतर फैंस हैं वो EPL और ला लीगा क्लब्स या टू सम एक्सटेंट बायर्न म्यूनिख और यूवेंटस को सपोर्ट करते हैं, सबके सब. बट उनका वो कनेक्ट नहीं है, चाहे ये लीग्स बहुत कोशिश भी करें कि इंडिया में कनेक्ट किया जाए, but they are far off. They will never go and see matches. They will never have a connect which is the connect with your own city club, because वहाँ आप हर वक्त जा सकते हो, interact कर सकते हो, हर मैच देख सकते हो. तो वो जो interaction और वो जो मज़ा होता है वो अभी तक लोगों ने सिटीज़ लाइक पुणे बॉम्बे में अभी तक एक्सपीरियंस नहीं, जिन्होंने नहीं कर लिया एक्सपीरियंस वो तो बहुत एंजॉय कर रहे हैं, लेकिन जिन्होंने नहीं किया अभी तक एक्सपीरियंस, दे आर मिसिंग आउट ऑन द फन. सो इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट टू टेल देम, and that's the role with Arjun will play in a big way, where he tells that come to the stadium, start enjoying that atmosphere which is live, and you will, एक बार आपको अपनी सिटी का लोकल क्लब you start enjoying, trust me, you can't feel the same way for a club where you have no access. It will start changing. So अभी तो सिर्फ यही है, सबसे यही बोलते हैं कि आके आप एक बार वो एटमॉस्फेयर तो अपने क्लब से कनेक्ट करना, वो एक्सेसिबिलिटी, वो एटमॉस्फेयर, दैट फील ऑफ योर ओन प्लेयर्स, योर ओन सिटी प्लेयर्स जिनके संग आप मिल सकते हो, बात कर सकते हो, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो बहुत जल्दी चेंज होना शुरू हो जाएगा ये.
So FC Pune City has a strategic tie-up with Chanmari FC from the Azure. So how has over the 5 months mutually benefited for both clubs?
Very good. So
what are the kind of activities that have happened?
Yeah, so basically जो हमारा लॉजिक था, one of the, we are continuously learning actually, first of all, which models will work, which will not work, experimenting and trying things out, because there is no one good way of doing things. सब कुछ एक experimentation, but एक learning के attitude से आप try कर रहे हो. चनमारी के संग tie-up has been very very fruitful till now. कुछ ही महीने हुए, लेकिन we have already signed 2 players from there. So Joe and Jacob, one is a midfielder and one is a striker. Jacob is a striker. We signed them. We saw them in the match. We were looking at them right from the beginning. But when they came here and when they played against our main team, our focus was on 3-4 players, and these 2 stood out, and we immediately signed them. So they are already feeding us with the players, as well as it's a 2-way process. So we help them get better coaches and support them in terms of doing a larger scouting. So now, since they become like a feeder to us, they are getting much better intake of players in Chanmari, because the players want to now join. For example, Joe Zozriana, the player that we have signed, he was playing for Shillong Lajang under 18 last season. So he moved from Shillong because he saw Chanmari as a feeder club to Pune City. And they told him that you have a good chance if you perform. He came in there, performed well, and we picked him up. So it will help them not only financially, where we will help them have better coaching setup and stuff. They will also be able to attract good talent in their local league because they have the tie-up with Pune City. So it's a good win-win situation for both of us. Recently they came and met me, and we had a great relation. Like we had a great meeting of minds, so to say.
So, Mr. Modwel, India hosting the World Cup, the under-17, the junior most World Cup. So, is this a start of a revolution in Indian football, or is this something that there's something missing all the while, and this kicks off?
See, क्या है कि जो एक revolution मैं उस चीज़ को बोलूँगा जो कि एक continued effort बार-बार होता रहेगा. But this is a shot in the arm. Like ये हम सबको इसको अंडर एस्टिमेट नहीं कर रहा हूँ. इसके इम्पैक्ट बहुत इम्पैक्ट किया है इसने. बहुत जिस तरह से लोग फ्लॉक कर रहे हैं स्टेडियम्स में.
You mentioned about the attendance, breaking all the records.
Yeah. Yesterday I heard that the Mali-Spain game had upwards of 35,000 people coming and attended. Like for an under-17 game, when your team has lost and is no longer there, for a Mali-Spain game, so many people coming, 35,000, come on, give me a break. I compare it with I-League, where your local teams played and main local teams played, and in cities like Pune you had 500 people or 200 people coming and watching. Compare that with 35,000 people watching an under-17 game. So these events do bolster in a big way and brings the whole community together. All the clubs, all the enthusiasts come together, rallying behind your Indian team. So I wouldn't say it's a starting of a revolution, but it's a very important event in the evolution of Indian football.
But then to continue the momentum, the attention that is gathered among everybody.
तो देखो ये चीज़ें बीच में, as what I said, they will be shot in the arm, और होते रहने चाहिए, और कुछ इससे कई ऐसे events और चीज़ें होंगी जिससे कि we will get that kind of a boost. But revolution or the movement or the evolution, as I would say, is a long drawn sustained effort. Infrastructure चाहिए तो बनाना है, better coaches चाहिए तो लगातार बनाना है. ये एक दिन का अगर एक कोई दवाई या पिल नहीं है कि आपने ले ली और हम फुटबॉलिंग नेशन हो गए. ये एक बहुत लंबा प्रोसेस है. इतने साल की अपैथी है, पुरानी अपैथी है. हम फुटबॉल में अच्छे खासे हुआ करते थे 50s में 60s में, एंड देन समथिंग हैपेंड टू अस. Professionalism went out. We never invested in this sport. The interest started coming down. The practices became very unprofessional. Nepotism आ गया, corruption आ गया, players को अच्छे से treat नहीं किया, infrastructure में invest नहीं किया. So for apathy for such a long period has led us to the situation where we are. So ये overnight change नहीं होने वाला. कोई भी एक pill नहीं है कि ले ली तो चीजें ठीक हो गई. It will take long sustained effort at all levels. Infrastructure improve करना है, coaching facilities improve करनी है. We have to initiate more and more kids into football. The salaries have to go up for them to see it more. 150 170 player earn करते हैं. That's not sufficient. Need to have 500 700 1000. You need to have high quality coaches even at the grassroots levels.
Does that also mean we need to play more? We need to have more teams, more competitions,
more leagues, more local leagues, strong local leagues. So this would not happen overnight. It requires a sustained effort for a very long period. But there are reasons why people should invest, or the policies should be created, or people should invest in football. ये साइंस दिखते हैं कभी कभी जब एक वर्ल्ड कप होता है और यू सी सो मेनी पीपल कमिंग एंड वाचिंग, पेइंग फॉर द टिकट्स एंड कमिंग एंड वाचिंग. देन देयर इज अ थॉट से कि हाँ हो सकता है अगर आईपीएल में केरला के स्टेडियम्स में 70,000 लोग आ सकते हैं तो और जगह भी आ सकते हैं. इट इज लाइक यू सी these few successes which make people think that it's worth investing in football.
Coming to the topic of the highest top flight division in India, right now it's the I League. Would you be of support of having twice the number of teams at the topmost level to expand and see more growth?
होगा तो बहुत अच्छा हो सकता है. ट्वाइस द नंबर कौन सी टीम्स होंगी क्या होंगी वो नहीं मालूम मुझे, बट द फैक्ट इज there is more investment to be able to support teams at that level. Whether there are more teams in ISL and that becomes the top, whether I-League clubs start investing much more and start becoming far more professional, all the clubs, not only Mohun Bagan and East Bengal, but all of them, whether they all start investing and becoming more professional, I don't know who does it. So for me, it's certain things have to happen. Who does it doesn't matter, but there has to be more professional conduct. There has to be more investments which are required in football. If you look at I-League, from ISL point of view, if there are more people, it can continue expanding to 12, 14, 16. Could become a 6-month, 8-month league. So there are various ways possible. I think it's a stage of manthan. I keep saying it's chintan or manthan, which is like thinking and churn. It will happen for a few years. It's a part and parcel. But hopefully it settles in the right way. Hopefully you get something good out of it as a result. But this is bound to happen because what was happening was not leading to any results whatsoever.
Yeah.
So whether ISL becomes large or you call it some other name, doesn't matter. In long run, it's not 1 year, 2 year, 3 year things. But in long run, we need clubs. I can start pointing fingers at all stakeholders for that matter. A lot of fans would say that legacy clubs and stuff like that, please, or local clubs, please go and watch those matches, please pay there so that they have more wherewithal to sustain. Go to a sporting game, pick up 500 rupee tickets, go 5,000 people, give them 25 lakhs a match, give them some money. So if that doesn't happen, if they don't find it exciting, the cycle doesn't start. So fans don't come, don't watch. So there is no money with them.
Okay.
So they can't have good practices, they can't hire good players, they can't pay players well. So the junior people don't want to become a footballer because they don't see much money in there, not as a viable career option. So it's not about one stakeholder and only one stakeholder and one pointing fingers. All of us have to start contributing to football.
Right. Yeah. On that note, Mr. Modwel, coming to the talk of ISL, I-League, the merger that is already in place. So the simultaneous league that's happening this year is already progressing towards a unified league. So there's also the talk about having an open or a closed no relegation promotion. So what is your thought on that? Is that good?
The only reason why there should be an open or closed system is if the investment is very, very important. And investment will come only and only if you give some kind of a period for a club to continue in that league. If it can fall down and go out, why should there be an investment? Today there are hardly any revenues. It's on all a one-way investments coming from the corporates. If you want to attract, it's just so simple. If I come to you and say you invest your money 20 rupees in something, if you don't see it becoming even 20 next year or after 5 years, why will you invest? If you put 20 and next day it could be 0, you will not invest. It's so simple as that. Like, we can have all kinds of emotion for things. It's about when you go and someone invests 200 crores. This is not 20 rupees. This 200 crores, 250 crores if someone has to invest. And you tell him, but it's possible that it becomes 0. Will he invest?
Yeah, but what if you add competition to that? When everybody knows
so
everything there is something at stake.
So promotion and relegation. See, first of all, I don't see as ISL. There's a top league. Don't misconstrue it to be the normal debate of saying कि sporting भी तो कर सकता है. I don't see the current clubs. I don't see the current. There is a top league. If you want people to invest to be in whatever is the top league, it should have some kind of a safeguard. Now, the second question, how do you give the second tier a chance to perform better and move up? There are ways which I have suggested in the past, which is you could do a qualifying tournament. So you could do the 2 teams which have gone up this season, play against the top 2 of the next year. They play between themselves. So suppose there are 10 teams in top tier or 12 teams in the top tier. Top 2 of the teams have come from below and 10 are there who have a protection. So 10 have protection, 2 come from the second division. When they come up, next year the other 2 play against these 2.
The ones who got promoted the previous year.
Okay. They both play, and whoever the other 2 who win go in there. And then in the top league, you pay them some kind of a parachute money or some kind of extra money to bolster their team to be able to compete. And that amount need not be too much. I mean, that amount could be 10 crores extra, 15 crores extra to each team is paid. In the whole scheme of things where so much money is going, 20, 25, 30 crores is not such a huge sum which can be contributed to these teams who are getting promoted. So once they get promoted, they have an advantage of more money, but the teams from below can still come and beat them and pull them back again and be the ones who are. So there are ways and means of structuring things. There are ways and means. Today, we are getting caught with the clubs, not with the principals. So the fact is, आप unify कर दो उसके बाद. What I would ask, one is कि एक फैंटेसी है, शाम को बैठ के हमने सबको एक में डाल दिया लीग में. उसके बाद क्या? वो तो खत्म हो गया, इवेंट शोशा हो गया, उसके बारे में सारे मीडिया ने लिख दिया, सब खुश हो गए, सब क्लब खुश हो गए. 1 महीने बाद रियलिटी हिट करनी शुरू करेगी. You have to pay money to conduct these programs. To carry out. ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई भी पैसा बना रहा है. ऐसा नहीं है कि ISL के लीग ओनर्स are raking in huge money. Even they are in losses. So there is a cost which is going in terms of conducting these. ऐसा नहीं है कि स्टार ब्रॉडकास्ट राइट्स का एक बहुत बड़ा इशू बार बार बोला जाता है. ऐसा है कि क्या स्टार ह्यूज मनीज बना रहा है? I mean, someone has to do an analysis and saying, is Star making huge monies and not passing it on? Then yes, there is money in broadcasting. But are they making, at what price are their spots getting sold? And who is buying? Is the corporate really buying? So one is just sitting and saying कि ऐसा structure हो जाए. But it should make economic sense. It should make, वरना 1 महीने बाद इतना जोर से hit करेगा. It will hit us so hard after 1 month because we wouldn't then know how the club sustain.
Okay.
It's better if to me it sounds better that if there are so many people who want to run clubs, people actually come together and make less clubs.
Yeah.
So अगर X amount का loss हो रहा है तो 2 पार्टनर्स साथ में आ जाए and they make X by 2 loss. They also have a club and they make X by 2 loss. Probably that's a great model for India to have. So couple of two clubs coming together. If there's so many people who want to run a club, let them come together and own collectively one club so that ek ka investment come right.
Yeah. Coming to the current season, so the pre-season is happening now. We've seen ISL teams playing with I-League teams. Some have come back from the pre-seasons, friendly matches abroad. So what's the plan for Pune City? So is there some matches lined up?
Yeah, we're playing East Bengal, we're playing Mohun Bagan. Going forward.
So this is the first time in 3 years we've seen something like this happening.
Yeah, because we decided to stay. We decided not to go abroad, and people said you won't get quality opposition, you won't get training infrastructure. So a lot of people forgot we were one of the first teams to go to Italy in the first season. Us and ATK went to Spain, we went to Italy. Then the whole trend started where everyone started going out.
Is it because of the trend or is it?
There were 3 reasons why people used to go out. So we were looking at all 3 reasons. First and foremost was no infrastructure to train. Second was weather, because August में जब pre-season होता था तब बारिश बहुत होती है. Third is to get competitive teams. Now look at it this year. So every year when you sit down, it's not a norm कि बाहर जाना है. You have to again see.
Yeah.
We build our own infrastructure, so we are sorted. We have our own hotel. We have world-class training pitch, floodlit, everything. So that was not the requirement. इस बार वर्ल्ड कप की वजह से बारिश जो है वो सीजन जो है वो डिले हो गया, तो बारिश हो ही नहीं रही है. Like when your pre-season starts in October, there is no rains, so there is no worry about the weather. The third is getting competitive teams. Now when you are going abroad right now, all the leagues are already underway. Second division, third division, first division, हर जगह. So who are the boys who will play against you? Their reserve squad. So you're playing a third division, उसका reserve squad जिसको match नहीं मिल रहे हैं, जो bench पे है, every Sunday they are playing. They will not play a team on Wednesday with you. Who will they play? They will largely play 5-6 of the guys who are either injured and coming back or on the bench. Those guys will play. So we decided, and थोड़ा disadvantage था कि whether we will get good quality opposition to come and play or not. But we also looked at last season's results. Okay, second year we never played a pre-season game. We came back and won 3 out of our first 4 games. Last year we won 7 or 9 pre-season games in a row. I think 8 or 9 pre-season games we won in a row, and came back and didn't start well. So one is it didn't prove anything. Second is we kept beating every team.
So there's no trial and tested method. You do some things and
we came and won against East Bengal last season, depleted East Bengal, because पहले क्या होता था कि सारे players यहाँ आ जाते थे और फिर सारे players वापस आई लीग में जाते थे. अब इस बार तो simultaneous हो रहा है. So last year तक East Bengal and Mohun Bagan were very depleted teams in pre-season tournament, because all their players would have been playing for ISL and then they will be going back there. This season they are all well prepared because they have 5-6 foreigners in their squads. They've been playing Calcutta League, so they are well-oiled machineries. They have equally strong teams. So we looked at all these 3 aspects: the weather, infrastructure, and competitive teams. And we said, there's no reason to waste money, and it makes so much sense to be stationed here because you are talking to your fans, you are talking to media, you are acclimatizing yourself in the home city. So made no sense.
Just one thought about, it's not a thought, I want to know more about the project that Shanknath in between that you have started.
Shanknath is not a project. Shanknath is basically, Shanknath means you take the conch in the battles and all, in the Indian the battle system. Whenever you started a battle, you took that conch and you blew it. So when you blow a conch, it's called a Shanknath. Nath is sound, Shank is the conch. So the sound of the conch when you start a battle.
Okay.
So it actually every year we do Shanknath, which means a new start. Like the battle lines are drawn. पहले जब battles होते थे इंडिया में, तो battle lines were drawn, and to say now we are ready, the game is like a whistle. Like a whistle you play in the beginning of the game. You use the conch and you play. So this is what we do every beginning, and we always call media on day 1, to tell them we are starting something good, because we see media as our partners, because that's the only way our voice, our thoughts, our players, our news will go to our fans. So we call them on the first day, and then we do a shankna, then we call fans in the evening. So we call media in the afternoon, and then we call fans thereafter, the core group, and say let's start the battle.
Just final thought on your expectations from the team this season. You definitely sounded very confident, saying the progress that you've made in the past year with the youth teams.
So the difference between teams is so less, to be fair. All teams are almost similar, each season actually. It is, sometimes the schedules matter a lot, sometimes the injuries matter a lot. Okay, there's small differences, and the team, Kerala lost to Mumbai 5-0 with 4 games to go. 5-0. And they went to the finals, and not Mumbai. And it was like 10 days before they lost to that team 5-0. The difference between teams is very less. So a lot of external factors matter a lot.
But again, the scheduling from last year is much more relaxed.
No, for me, still it's not good, because Pune again is playing 4 away games out of last 5. And this has happened for the 4th year in a row for us. Unfortunately, league also tried to reschedule, but the availability of stadiums is not there. So Pune's availability of stadium actually becomes our curse. We get a schedule which never helps us. It will be a challenge again this year. But we have a younger team, so I guess we hold ourselves well up even towards the end of the league. But you can't say it's. I would always go and fight till the last day, and the team would do so, because we believe in this philosophy. But to be fair, it's tougher this year, because just 4 out of 10 teams go. So it could be a bravado saying, I lift it, come whatever may. But it's tough. It's tough. All teams are equal. You have to fight every single game. What I can promise on behalf of the team is we will not give up the fight. And we are more desirous of getting in the playoff than most other teams. We desperately want it. So we'll probably work harder.
Okay. So that's it, Mr. Modwel. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to Fan Garage.
Well, great insights from there. It's always good to know what the guy who kind of runs the team or what his vision is throughout the game, and if he's in this for a long term. And he sounds like he is in this for a long term because of the way his vision is and the investments that he's done, not in terms of just money, but his time and his whatever. What do you think? He's given his thoughts about how the season's going to pan out. Just to end it, before we end it, we'll definitely talk about all the ISL teams in our long preview shows, but just to ask you, Kevin, you had a chat with him, you got some personal one-on-one insight from him about how the team looks or how he thinks the team looks. What do you think, FC Pune City this season?
He is very confident about the preparations and the successful youth system that they have in place. That gives him more confidence that the players that they've inducted in the team from there will shine through. And talking about the main team, he does say it's one of the youngest team in the ISL, and he expects them to do well. Mm-hmm. And obviously he's saying there is high competition, there is great tough teams, and it's always unpredictable when you have fixtures. He did mention about the fixtures that he's not very happy about, but something that is uncontrollable. So considering all those points, but he's a great person to listen to from talking for his own team, the ISL franchisee. We heard him talk about the fans that they cater to so much, and the culture that they're trying to build up. So with all this, he sounds like a more diverse person with respect to his approach to lots of things coming down the years.
Yeah, let's see if all of those thoughts turn into on the field when FC Pune City take on this season. And that's all. That brings us to the end of this interview episode. But if you are the likes who like to also read the story, then get onto our website, thefangarage.com, because the whole interview is out there. And if you are listening to us on YouTube, then please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get updates of a new episode. Leave your thoughts below of what you thought of this whole conversation and what you think of the new team, of the young team that Modwel is talking about FC Pune City. Have a great day. You can talk to Kevin if you want more information on how it went. He's on Twitter as Boza_Kevin. I'm on Twitter as Matthew94. Do follow the TFG Football Twitter handle for all updates. And like this, we'll bring you all interviews of players, of anyone related to sports on our very show here. Have a great day, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.
एक्सक्यूज मी भैया, एक्सक्यूज मी।
बोलिए मैडम।
मेन्यू में क्या है?
मेन्यू में सीन अनसीन है, पॉडकास्ट है, ऑन कोर्स है, साइरस है, मेड इन इंडिया, रीडिस्कवरी प्रोजेक्ट, एम्पावरिंग सीरीज, सेक्स वैक्स है, IVM लाइक्स है, सिंप्लीफाइड है, कीपिंग इट क्लियर है, ड्रिंक्स एंड डेस्टिनेशंस है, माय नेबर जकरबर्ग है और द फैन गराज है। आपको क्या चाहिए?
एक बार रिपीट कर देंगे क्या?
रिपीट नहीं करता हम। आप जाओ IVMpodcast.com पे और सुनो ये सब, या फिर डाउनलोड करो उनका ऐप, सब आपकी उंगलियों पे।